I'd like to introduce to you a band that you know and love. Come to you like the sound of equipment being thrown from a moving van, the sound of dead cell phones and oil rigs, the sound of empty parking lots and school buses. They love to live and live to love. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus Children of America, the White Stripes.
Hello! Come on in. The water's great. My name is Ryan Schaap, and this is the hardest podcast to podcast, the only podcast celebrating the entire White Stripes musical catalog, one song at a time, one song per episode. Hope everybody's having a good time, a good week. I don't know, maybe you're binging this, and I've asked you if you're having a good week like 14 times in a row in one day, so hope you're having a nice time. Last week with Jason Manning, it was I'm Bound to Pack It Up, one of a personal favorite song of mine off that album and just in the White Stripes in general. So it was really fun to discuss that and that time for the band. We're talking about another song off Stijl this week. If you saw my video on our social media channels of me going through all the songs we've covered so far, before doing I'm Bound to Pack It Up, Stijl was collecting a little bit of dust. On this show, we're talking about Why Can't You Be Nicer to Me, a bit of a deep cut off of Stijl, and we're speaking with a gentleman by the name of Chris Polinsky, who very big fan of the band and also had some very, very unique encounters and experiences with the band on this Stijl tour and in and around New York. So one of the cool things about it is he took a very prominent photo of the White Stripes. So if you have your Stijl 20, for those watching at youtube.com/hardestpodtopod, you crack this bad boy open. Last week I mentioned to Jason Manning that the White Stripes covered AC/DC. That was on, that's on a performance that's available on DVD in this Vault 20th anniversary of Stijl. So you go grab your big book here. Hey, there's Jack. Hey, look at that. There's Meg too. There you go. And it's towards the end, but he took a handful of photos, including this one, for a project, for a university course, although he didn't say that at the time. So these photos really stood out. Those don't look like normal White Stripes photos, and they don't. They're capturing the band, but it's a little more raw, a little more real, and a little more in the moment. So another reason to invest in the 20th anniversary of Vault packages. I myself made the mistake of not buying the White Blood Cells or Elephant 20th anniversary packages because I didn't think they came in the big hard cover, hard case, like the first two did. And I was wrong, and horribly wrong. So I've got Get Behind Me, Satan, and next year in 2027 I'll invest in Icky Thump, but I'm gonna need to Discogs it up, or find a White Stripes fan in Vancouver that is hard up and sell some things to Neptune or Red Cat, because I need those for the collection. It's not, yes, it's a need in life. I also want to remind the listeners, the viewers, that we launched recently our Patreon feed, which will be chock full of bonus White Stripes, Jack White, Raconteurs, and that's patreon.com/hardestpodtopod. And you can get in there for $5 Canadian to get access to bonus content. So our debut episode is my review of Nobody Knows How to Talk to Children. That's something that comes up in our conversation today. But that is a pretty wild dive into that film that literally was banned by the band. They were not happy with it, and they were not happy with the choices in production and afterwards of the filmmakers. So it was quite the item to come across when it finally became available about a decade ago. So patreon.com/hardestpodtopod. That's where bonus content will be that will not affect this stream. This is still one song at a time, and there won't be any ads, and there won't be any it ain't gonna cost you a damn thing here. But go to patreon.com/hardestpod2pod. Give it a try for a month. Every dollar that we get from there or at buymeacoffee.com/hardestpod2pod gets reinvested right back into this show because I want it looking good, I want it sounding good, and we want to grow this bastard. I think it's about time for our call to action this week. What I want you to do is hit pause on this podcast, go to your streaming platform of choice, and go to the Stijl, the 2000 album by our beloved White Stripes, and find the track Why Can't You Be Nicer to Me, and give it a listen. That way it's as fresh in your mind as it was in our mind when Chris and I discussed this song and his very unique history with the band. I mentioned this towards the end of the conversation, but I want to mention it again. I signed up for a Nugs account. It was in the back of my mind from my conversation with Jason, but then in preparing for Why Can't You Be Nicer to Me, I learned that there was a performance from the Supply Chain Issues tour in El Paso where Jack and his band play Why Can't You Be Nicer to Me, and I couldn't find it anywhere online, so I'm like, I'll start the trial and we'll see how long this goes for. And they play a completely reworked version of Why Can't You Be Nicer to Me, and it rocks and it goes hard. So go, if you have Nugs, go check out the Why Can't You Be Nicer to Me solo version from El Paso in 2022. I would recommend it. I've had it on throughout the weekend and really, really enjoyed it. So we'll see how far we go past the trial, but there's some really good stuff from our bands that we like on that bastard. Just said bastard twice. Hope the kids listening aren't offended. Let's go into our conversation. Let's speak to Chris. Our guest this week is a photographer and creative who captured the White Stripes during some pivotal moments of their career and on the Stijl tour. He is Chris Polinsky. Chris, how are you doing today?
How's everybody? I'm doing great. Doing great. Thanks for having me. Thank you for doing this. I love this podcast. I think it's really cool that fans are coming together in new ways and new avenues. I love the stuff that you come up with. Oh my God, dude, you go so deep, like so deep. You touch parts of my brain that haven't been touched in so long. So I thank you for that.
That's what we're looking to do. And, I like to say that I'm, revisiting this band through grown-up eyes. Like White Blood Cells came out when I was in grade 10, so I was a young kid and kind of revisiting it and kind of, shaking down those general assumptions I made about the band or songs that I liked or didn't like, or coming back through mid to late 30s eyes and brain. It's been a really fun journey, and some things are the same, but I feel I'm seeing things a lot differently as a grown up.
I am as well. No,
yeah.
I am as well. And I mean, I was just out of college, or I was in college when this still came out, and I saw my friend told me about the album, and he was just like, you got to check these guys out. They're opening up for Sleater-Kinney in 2 weeks, and everyone's saying that we got to go see them and not Sleater-Kinney, which I thought was unbelievable.
What was your first few experiences with the White Stripes? Because in all honesty, like in our conversations leading up to this, like it feels like you're as enthusiastic about the band now as you were maybe in the year 2000.
Yeah, I tried to like interject myself into their circle. Like once I found out once I heard Stijl, probably August 2000, just a couple of weeks before they played their first show in New York at the Mercury Lounge. I found out that they had a website and that their website was like frequently updated with info. But like the interesting thing is that I remember 3 years before that, Ben Blackwell was in the AOL Garage chat room trying to get people to go to their shows. Like he'd be like, oh, we're having a show at the Gold Dollar, the White Stripes, all these bands, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wait, like I'm in New York. Like, why would I want to go to Detroit? Like, it seemed weird. Like, you realize, like, the late 90s, early 2000s and the internet.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that like this band seemed like that they were one email away,
Yeah.
that was really cool. But yeah, I mean, I clearly remember getting in touch with Blackwell, finding out like, wait, hold on, you're playing drums for Mick Collins and the Dirt Bombs. Like, also the thing that like nobody really talks about is Almost Famous came out around then as well.
Oh yeah.
And Blackwell is this Cameron Crowe kind of character where he's like very young but put into situations like where it's 21 plus. I remember him telling me about when the White Stripes played the Cash Bar and how they had to sneak him in because he wasn't of age yet. Like that's pretty cool. And then my appetite from the band, I brought it up through email with you. The Rushmore soundtrack.
Yeah.
Mark Mothersbaugh did that Rushmore soundtrack, and he put the band The Creation like right up front. And it's similar tone to like the Jimmy Page guitar sound. The Creation were the first to use not the first, but they were the band that used the violin bow on stage before Jimmy Page did.
Oh really?
Yeah. And so I was listening to them nonstop at the record store that I was working at in Brooklyn. And this one day, this owner was like, yeah, there's this new band that's supposed to be like the Gories. He's like, you love the Gories. Like, you're going to love this band. And he pulled out, like, we would get demo CDs from labels. And so we got a demo CD from Sympathy.
Yeah.
And he put it on, and I was floored. Like the vinyl came out like a week later, or the vinyl was already out, and we had gotten like a test copy of a CD, and he played it, and it was just like, oh my God, I got to find this record.
Yeah. And that was
Distill?
Or
That was
Distill?
Distill.
Yeah.
I started classes that fall, and then I would walk around all the time with records on me. And that was like one of the 4 records that I had on me.
Hell yeah.
And I would play that record and just show it to people and be like, oh my God, you guys got to hear this. And I didn't realize how much I did it until the Hall of Fame ceremony came up. And like the day of, I've got like 15 text messages from people that I haven't talked to in a long time being like, I got to thank you for turning me on to them. And, you know, I just wanted people to have really good music to listen to. I didn't like a lot of what was coming out then as far as MTV stuff. And thinking about it now, again, with adult eyes, like the White Stripes and the Strokes made so many of us turn back on MTV.
Totally. And you know, it's funny you bring that up, like, oh, this is a band you want to share, this is a band you want to, you know, spread to the people, and they felt as accessible as they were, and it just seems so easy that this is a band you want to root for, and this is a band that, you know, it's easy to dive in head first, and also to spread the word. What about it? What about this record? Because we're talking about Why Can't You Be Nicer to Me off this album. What really resonated with you with this record? Because not a lot of Whites, you know, it's a very unique sounding Stripes album. No others sound like it, and you know, it was a rather simplistic lo-fi approach. What had its hooks in you at early on?
I think now looking back on it was the fact that everything was recorded live to tape.
Oh yeah.
Which is like huge. So there was always that extra thing in the room. I mean, it's just I brought it to a class in college. I took while I was working at the record store, I was like, I need to take an elective. I'm going to take history of rock and roll.
Oh, what a class.
And the guy in the class, the guy who taught the class was, his name's Billy Altman. He was tightly connected with the Ramones. So like I wanted to impress him. I wanted, like, he says he's a Ramone, I want to impress him.
Yeah, hell yeah, you do.
And so he was like, all right, class, next week, bring in a song that you want us to listen to. And I raised my hand very quickly. I was like, what if it's a whole album? He was like, we're not going to listen to a whole album, but sure, bring it.
Good luck, kid.
So I brought in Stijl, and he's like, "You're gonna make us listen to a whole album. Like, let's put it on first." He's like, "I have a feeling we won't get past the third song." And I put on the first side of the record, and he insisted that we not stop after the third song.
That's so
He
cool.
insisted that we flip over the record to the other side. Like, people were it was music marketing at its purest form. I was not getting paid by the band. I was not I like, I was like, still like, I don't even think I had been to see them at Mercury Lounge. So I just wanted to get people into something new.
Hmm.
And I thought that they were like an amazing creative outlet. Like, I'm in art school, and this band is doing art themed album.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and that's like insane. Not only that, but also they are ridiculously good looking. Like, Jack and Meg are so good looking.
That
And then there's I love novelty bands. I'm not sure if you're very familiar with novelty punk. They look like a novelty punk band.
sure,
They
of
look
course.
like a budget rock band. And then, like, oh, he's playing the guy from the Oblivions guitar. Like, I love the Oblivions. And then, oh, they make sure they mention the Gories in interviews. Like, that's insane. Like, the multi-ball split record with
Oh,
the multi-ball record with the Dirt Bombs. When I got that thing, like, handsprings, like, I just played that so much.
one of their best songs, one of their coolest songs that just I don't know another song in general in that genre that just sounds like it. And you put it on
And
there.
the song in itself is a music video.
Totally. It's the
Like, it doesn't need a video because it sounds so good. And then this is like something, a throwaway, that they just want to put inside a magazine or fanzine that's going to probably sell 1,000 to 1,500
yeah.
copies.
No, it's
So,
everything they did was, everything they did eventually overall it was very particular, strategic, very deliberate. I'm reading the book Fell in Love with a Band for the first time. I put it off for 20 years, and you're hearing like Jack get upset in the first year of the band that, oh, the lighting at the magic stick or the gold dollar isn't right, to capture to showcase the band perfectly, and leaves in a huff. Or you hear that they stayed with Sympathy for the record industry because there was no annoying logos on the spine of the vinyl. They wanted everything to be red, white, and black. And then there was some label that they were working with, but they'd have a green logo on the spine. He's like, nah, this is a piece of art. And you hear that, and you're like, that's just so cool. That's just an artist that wants to be in control of their art, and they see a vision. And if you're a creative person, you can't help but just have that resonate with you.
and something that I've been thinking about since I knowing that I was going to be talking to you about this. My whole motive was that, we have very little time with these people. We don't know if they're going to come around again. We don't know if they're going to break up in Milwaukee like so many of my favorite garage bands of the 90s did. Like, like, um, it's pretty crazy, the fact that we all met through a label called Sympathy for the Record Industry.
Yeah.
And then, if it wasn't for Jack doing Third Man, like, what would be the longevity of what he was doing? Because the people in the record industry are really tiring.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I mean, it's crazy to look back on it all and be like, I would tell people, oh, I photographed the White Stripes, and they'd be like, yeah, right. And then, like, now thinking about it, like, I've never really talked about this publicly. Like, I've got like 10 photos maybe of them on the street. And then Jack wanted to go in because you could hear the Yeah Yeah Yeahs about to go on
Oh
inside.
yeah.
And he was like, I gotta get in there to see these guys play. And so me walking into the club that night, I was walking in with my girlfriend at the time who was helping me, and then Jack and Meg, and then like the Yeah Yeah Yeahs are up on stage. And I loosely knew of Nick because he went to the same college as me,
Mm-hmm.
and we lived in the same neighborhood. So there was like one street that we would all see each other on. So I was very aware of them, but like you can't write that movie.
And just describing that scene of like, here's a band that's, you know, that's unlocked something in your musical taste that's kind of gone stagnant, and they're accessible, and you're documenting them, and you're in your element, and you're like, I can't describe, I couldn't hear a better gig or a better scenario described than what you just put
Well,
out.
I couldn't tell them that it was for a college assignment, but Jack and Meg, I'm sorry guys, it was for a college assignment.
Tell me, like,
My
so that
the
photo
crazy thing
okay.
is it was my friend's brother who was teaching
Mhm.
the class. He's a fashion photographer who, yeah, he's amazing. And his Pepsi challenge to me was, in the class, was photograph someone you think would be famous in 10 years. Yeah.
I love that so
And
much.
so I got that assignment on Tuesday, and they were playing that following Sunday, and I had to figure out how to turn around the photos. It was still film at the time, and someone at the school gave me a digital camera and was just like, you're going to use this, like you're going to be able to get the photos on one of our computers, work on it, print it out, and then give that to class, which completely worked. But yeah, I mean, when you do photography, you write off photos as like, oh, those photos aren't very good, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't like them now. And for a long time, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But like, 25 years later now, it's like, oh my God, like Meg's pants in the one photo is she's wearing Coca-Cola pants.
Yeah.
And I remember telling Blackwell, well, so the band played, and then at the end of it, the White Stripes played, and then at the end of it, I went to the merch booth, and Blackwell was there. And I was like, oh, could you write down your email address so that I could email you photos? And he was like, yeah, here it is. And he wrote down his email address. I was like, we've been talking on America Online for like the last 3 years.
That photo, or the photos that you took of them outside the Mercury Lounge, they appear in I believe the Stijl 20th anniversary box set. I'd never seen them or really took them in until I bought that box set, and they are an incredibly unique depiction of the band. And learning that they were on digital camera in whatever quality of camera it is, like, they're incredibly unique. They stand out as nothing I've ever, like, no other photography I've seen of them. And I asked
Thank you.
you, why didn't you like them?
I didn't like them because I used a very entry level digital camera.
Yeah.
And I mean, like the school got it for free from the company, so that's why they had it. It looked weird. I mean, maybe it was the reason why I only got 6 or 8 photos of them out front was, Jack saw that and was just like, whoa, I don't like those things, which I totally get.
Sure.
I mean, everything was film at the time. Like I had a friend who photographed them for a magazine, and that got killed. And then there was another photographer who had just photographed them on the Staten Island ferry that weekend. Those photos are crazy.
Oh, I know those. Yeah, I've seen those.
I think that's Michael Levine. And then, yeah, the other photos from that time, like that was, it really like sends me back. And then seeing them on the cover of the NME shortly thereafter, those Peter Van Hatten photos, oh my God, those were just like, aren't we so lucky to be fans of this band because they've given back so much to us as far as like, I'm watching on Christmas Day. We're not watching the U-Log. We're watching the White Stripes U-Log. And my kids are asking for it. And my son's like staring into the drawings and being like, oh my God, Dad, like these are like so cool. Like I love watching this during Christmas time. And I'm like you can't write that.
No. And what's really great about what really connects, what's really I'm connecting with right now with you is like, you're like, I like this band at this point in your life, and you're like, I think this is something I'm gonna be devoted to, and not like be obsessed, but just like that's a band I'm gonna hang my hat on. And because of that, you had these experiences, fell in love with this music, and like I did the same a couple years later. And because of just like being like, you know what, there's something about this band that I'm gonna just that's bringing me back. That the experiences I got to have and the fandom that I got to experience. Like you talk to people now who got into the band years after they ended, and what you have experienced is worth more than gold, because they couldn't even imagine you getting to do that. Like when I get to tell people I saw them 4 times here in Vancouver over 3 tours, that's like baffling to them. They can't comprehend it. So yeah, lucky is an
I mean,
understatement.
I'm on Reddit a lot with that in the White Stripes and the Jack White area, and I'm just seeing like so many people being like, "Oh God, I never got to see the White Stripes live," blah blah blah, and it's like I was so very lucky. I mean, so they did the Mercury Lounge show, which was awesome, and I kept in contact with Ben after that, or contact even more after that,
Yeah.
and then they did a show at the pier on the west side of Manhattan. And I think I brought about 15 friends that never heard of the band. And everybody laughed. And they were just like, that was probably the greatest rock show I'm ever going to see. And like that, like blew my mind, because
Yeah.
these were like the thing at Mercury Lounge was like, nobody got a room to move like that. Like I had started going to punk shows like probably around 12 or 13, and then got access to 21 plus shows really young because I looked older. And like, so I had been going to shows probably so that was 2000. So 6 or 7 years at that point,
Sure.
you know, and nobody really moved a New York room like that. Like it was pandemonium. It was chaos because people came out of their shells for the time that the band played.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, they were just so loud.
Yeah.
And Meg is so bombastic.
Just beating the ever loving shit out of those drums. I was watching it's funny you mentioned like they never got that, how unbridled they got the crowd, how wild they went, because in years following, Jack seemed always quite not critical, but like disappointed in New York crowds. Like, you can do better.
He's right. No, he was right.
You mentioned something really cool in our conversations before we get to the song. Regardless of what you did there, just the fact that you worked on or at Saturday Night Live is like a total novelty, and just like eyes wide open. Tell me about your role there, and your, at least to you and me, your claim to fame involving the White Stripes.
So yeah, I went to school of visual arts in college, and then I got an internship with one of my teachers who represented Annie Leibovitz. And so I interned at his agency, and that stuck out on my resume. So when I got wind that Saturday Night Live was looking for a photo assistant specifically, I created a resume, I applied, I had everything in check. I worked at a record store at the same time. I worked at a camera shop, and I had an internship 2 days a week at a photo agency. So I was working like 7 days a week. And so you could see that on the resume, young guy. Um, I applied the day after September 11th and got hired September 20th. My first day of work there was like with the new cast, who was Amy Poehler and Seth Meyers at the time, and then yeah, just like right into it.
Are you saying your first show was the one after 9/11 with Paul
Yeah,
Simon?
yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. And they were like, "You have to come Saturday. You have to come Saturday." And I was like, "I'm not getting paid." They're like, "Just come on Saturday. You're gonna love it." And so I showed up that Saturday, and it was amazing. Like, being a fan of the show, like, I had an aunt that worked the front desk,
Oh,
like in 1981 with like some old regime after Lauren. So The one person who was there was the music director. She knew him. And so when I mentioned him to her, he like lit up. It was crazy. But yeah, that was like my first show was the 9/11 show with Will coming out in the Speedos, which like you're in dress rehearsal and he starts doing that. That was crazy. So I did that first season. Season ended like May 2002, and Ben had sent Cody, I think, the live the radio the Peel sessions.
Okay, yeah.
So Cody had it on him, and we were at like the after party in the SNL offices, and he was like, someone's got a pile of CDs on that desk over there. I was like, dude, put it on that pile. I was like, put it on that pile. And he put I don't know what happened. I'm not involved in their offices. I don't know if someone played the CD. I hope they did, because it was really good. And like, I still don't have a copy of
The
that.
Peel session, the Peel session was a pretty damn good representation of the band. So if that's a great thing to leave, a bunch of people to potentially get them on SNL.
But it was like at like 4:30 in the morning.
Of course it was.
Like, look, I forget who was there that night, but it was like crazy. It was like crazy that we were just like in someone's office. He's like, they got a pile of CDs over there. I should leave the White Stripes CD there. I was like, do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
And what happened the following season?
Yeah. I mean, Jack and Meg did that. They had so much motion at that point.
Oh God, yeah.
I got wind that they were coming on like a week or two before, and I was like so excited. I was like so nervous, so excited. It was just like, oh my God, like it's like when your girlfriend's parents comes over to the house for the first time. It was like that level nervousness. I was like,
Why? Because like this is a band that you've championed and were so vocal about for so long, and now they're they're in your place of work on this grand stage, and there's expectations.
I was more
on them?
afraid of that we would look bad on them than they would look bad on us.
Okay.
So that's what I was afraid of. There was I mean, not to get into the work side of things, but you hear it now that place is very tough to work at.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of no's. So like I could have, I was very insistent on getting the White Stripes to play, because after the Strokes had played, I felt that we were going to start going into a new thing where rock was going to become more independent, which it did. But yeah, I always thought SNL was a great vehicle for live music. I stopped a house party so that we could watch Radiohead on Saturday Night Live in 1999.
Yeah.
Like fully stopped the house party so that they could do Amnesiac.
It's still a huge, it's still a huge avenue for to see an artist perform live, and it's still got that weight behind it, and it'll probably will for as long as it's on the air.
I mean, just recently what they've done with the ASAP Rocky thing, that was amazing. I loved Geese. I'm sorry if you don't like it. Like, thought they were amazing. I don't see what the whole controversy was about, but
you know what it was? It was a bunch of jam band guys thought they were going to see Goose, and they tuned in, and it's the plural, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't who I was signing up for." Chris, go ahead.
No. You were gonna. Did I answer your question?
You did. This has been an incredible little roadmap, and I can't wait to go home and look at my my copy of Distill 20, so I could look at that, like this low rent digital camera from the year 2000. And hey, quick, before we go into the song, what did you get on that assignment?
I remember it not going over well with the class.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is doing like these elaborate shoots with film and like 35 lights.
Oh,
and then there's me with like a point and shoot camera, like going to go hunt down the White Stripes.
Here's a paparazzi.
And then like putting up like live photos of them up. And then I think I had printed like Jack had his guitars up.
Mm-hmm.
and like someone said, like, I don't want to see that. Like, you don't know, like.
May be famous. Just have an open mind. Look at it.
Well, it was the Martin. It was the Martin and the airline are like standing up, and they're just like, I don't want to see that. I want to see this instead. I want to see more of the girl.
Well, let's talk about the song we're going to talk about this week,
Please.
which is off of Stijl, off of an album that left you a changed man. It is, we talked about Led Zeppelin earlier. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but they make all the magazines, all the reviewers and music journalists make the Led Zeppelin comparison. Is this the Led Zeppelin comparison song? Because in my mind, it is.
I hear the creation. I hear Biff Bang Pow. I hear I hear the creation more than I hear. I mean, it's still the same Jimmy tone, but I hear the creation. I hear Led Zeppelin. Like, I think we're all fans of Led Zeppelin here. I mean, I think I knew about Houses of Holy when I was like 5.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I also super lucky that I grew up in the same town as like that heavy metal record store Haven, like the most independent record store ever. So I think that was also another reason why I could walk up to Jack and Meg White at their pre-show in-store acoustic set. Like, that's how I approached them. It's like, could we get some photos out in the street? Like, maybe my friend would want to run them in Guitar World. Like,
okay, yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, like, this is probably one of the most Led Zeppelin songs that they have.
Yeah,
Just vocally and sonically.
Totally, I couldn't agree more. It's Why Can't You Be Nicer to Me? It features your usual suspects. Jack is on guitar and singing, Meg's on drums, and Paul Henry Aussie. I never got clarification how do you pronounce that, but he's on the electric violin. Paul, last week I told, or Chris, last week I told the story of Paul. Do you know who Paul Henry Aussie is?
Yeah, wasn't he friendly with Jack's older brother's band?
Yeah, with Catlin. So he was one of the guys that was around the Gillis family home in earlier in the decade, jamming out in their kind of prog experimental song. Just firing up this song in preparation for this episode. Where does your mind go?
I mean, why can't you be nicer to me? It's just somebody screaming, looking at the ceiling. Whoa, like, I mean, totally want to sing along with him in that. Even though my voice doesn't get that high, it's like you still are you're still compelled to sing along with that.
Yeah. It's a message that is so easy. We've all been in a spot in our lives where, that's, in one way or another, that's what you're saying to, whether out loud or internally, that's what you're saying to somebody across from you. And while some White Stripes and some Jack White songs are a little more curious as to what it's really about, like, this is a very clear message. This is a narrator down on their luck.
I think this is one of the songs that may be seen from the point of view of a child.
Sure, yeah.
Which Jack said, and I still think about this all the time, nobody knows how to talk to children. Mm-hmm. And being an adult now, being a parent now, like, I see it's everywhere. Nobody knows how to talk to children.
They don't know at what level to bring themselves down to, or if they overthink.
They don't know what love is.
So this song has been hanging around for a while. It was first played back in '97, and it was there's versions of it. They recorded versions during the first album. It's a very primitive song. It's quintessential White Stripes.
It sounds like you're walking through the mud.
Oh, it's a slog. That is such a good descriptor. I absolutely love that so much. What? It's because it's that sound. It's like as much as it sounds like it, it just feels like it. Like it's your boots getting stuck, and you're like, God damn it, and you
Yeah.
pull it out. What are your thoughts on the electric violin on it? Because while everything about the White Stripes is there's just two of them, it's it's all limited. It adds so much to it. It's such a fun, easy hook, and it just makes the song huge.
No, it does. It makes the song bigger and sound more epic than what was really out there at the time. And that was something I took away from Saturday Night Live was the band was doing sound check, and the sound guy who had been there for 25 years, he said, "Yo, your friends are louder than AC/DC, they're louder than Nirvana." Like he's like, they are the loudest band to come here.
Fuck.
And I thought that was just like bonkers. I was like, oh my God. Like,
There's two of them. He's got 2 amps up there. He doesn't have
and then
a wall of them.
I can't turn around and immediately tell Jack and Meg that. I want to,
Yeah.
but I can't.
Well, do you think that they would get concerned, or are they going to champion that and like be stoked on it?
I mean, I think I'd want them to be stoked on it, but
Yeah.
like, say something that out loud, like, oh, this guy over here said that, like, you kind of got to let everything go. Like, they talked to Conan, like, I got to introduce them to Conan. They talked to Conan and mentioned like that they had met before. Like, I let them like kind of like, I didn't interject anything there. I just witnessed it and then asked to take 2 photos after. But like, that was a big deal for me, was to get them to meet Conan. That was a huge deal because I was such a huge fan of Conan, because he was such he was so good at promoting independent music all the years. Like, so much of my taste in music comes from the Conan O'Brien show.
God, absolutely. And look at the impact the White Stripes, like following that meeting, like some of the best performances the White Stripes did were on the Conan O'Brien show, and they had them there as much as humanly possible up until his, the saddest performance ever, or the most bittersweet performance is "We Are Going to Be Friends" on the last episode of Late Night. So
I mean, they ended it so beautiful. It was just like when they called it quits, it was just like, oh, that makes total sense.
yeah.
Another funny thing that happened was, so working at Saturday Night Live, there were times when we had to go down to the 6th floor to work at Conan. Like, I technically was never paid by Saturday Night Live. I was paid by another company called
Sure.
Entertainment Partners. So Entertainment Partners also produced Conan O'Brien. So there were times when I have to go downstairs and be on set with Conan and do like a slideshow and help with the lighting on that. And so I became friendly with him, Brian Stack, and we found out like we all like the same kind of music. And then, yeah, when the White Stripes were on, seeing Conan outside of his studio, Conan leaving his studio was rare. He didn't leave his studio to get lunch.
Yeah.
He stayed there the whole time. The great thing about working at 30 Rock when Conan was there was that you could turn on a certain channel and get the feed into his studio where you'd see Conan working on his show. He'd literally work on his show all day long.
Really?
Unless there was like a pre-tape, which he would still be in that studio. And then like he got up and came up to see the White Stripes. Like, that was bonkers. And
Yeah.
like that's what I wanted. Like, I love SNL music performances, but like really like Conan's where you could take risks.
Yeah.
And that they did. I mean, a few months later, we were working an event for Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. His creator Robert has autism, Night of Too Many Stars autism benefit. So I was working that, and Lou Reed had just like did like a really rude interaction with me. I think Conan witnessed it. And so I was backstage behind the curtains, and Conan comes over to me. He's like, "I've got really good news for you." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "The White Stripes are going to do a full week on my show in April. And if you tell anyone, I will kill you." And I was just like, oh my God, this is insane. Like,
I've completely forgotten that Lou Reed was a dick to me.
like completely forgot about Lou Reed being a jerk, and like Conan O'Brien, like he saw me deflated. I guess I was like, oh. And like he came over and like told me like the best thing, the funniest thing, and the scariest thing at the same time.
I love that. That is just, I don't know. You're just encountering so many just like out of this world moments that all just kind of originate from, hey, I really like this band and I'm going to play it for my university class. Man, that's very special, and I love hearing all these stories.
No, thank you. I mean, I'm just truly head over heels with what you're doing.
Oh, thank
I
you.
know your mission, and I hope it succeeds. Like, I'd really love to see him on here, and like, I'm hyped that you can possibly get him.
My now obviously Jack's my S tier, like number one. I'm another ideal goal is to get Conan to do We Are Gonna Be Friends, but that's a big dog. He's a busy man.
He's a very, very busy man, but also he is a huge fan of the show.
Of what show?
I mean, he's a huge fan of the band, and that's why that's why. Yeah, sorry. Let's start that back again.
I love that.
No, he truly is a huge fan of the band.
Yes, he is.
And a lot of it was one of his writers, Brian Stack, would just feed him records all the time. And I still keep in touch with Stack. He's a great guy. And I still keep in touch with Conan's dresser, the person who dresses Conan.
That's very cool, man.
Yeah.
And one thing that always resonated with me that Conan said was, you know, for his last show on for in the late night in the 12:30 slot, I remember one of the final episodes or whatever it was, an interview. It's like, I just want to hear my favorite song performed by my favorite band, and he said that his favorite song is "We Are Gonna Be Friends," and I'm like, well, hard to dislike Conan after hearing that.
Yeah, no, I mean, just like super lucky. Kind of insane. When I tell people about it now, they're like, "What?" Something I did want to bring up with you is like the White Stripes made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I thought that they would be on the radio more. And I'm kind of disappointed with the fact that we only hear Seven Nation Army and that we don't hear Fell in Love with a Girl or My Doorbell.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
It's
I'm
like
not hearing, all I will hear is Seven Nation Army too.
Also, like Jack's longevity, he's done a really, really good job of like every marketing quarter doing something that attracts our attention for like the last 20 years.
Yes, he does.
Which is like insane. And it's like we're all I went to Santa Barbara Bowl and saw him in the back.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like way in the back, and it was amazing walking through Santa Barbara. Because I was late. I got there inside for the third song, but like hearing the first two songs while walking through Santa Barbara was insane.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this is like a Pied Piper experience. Like,
I love that, man.
And then yeah, LA Night 2, getting to see him, LA Night 2 was incredible. Yeah, just like we're so lucky to have Jack White in this world.
We are. And I mean, that's why I'm devoting for the next, 2 years for this project, because it's, you identify the luck and the appreciation, and like, man, I want to put something out there that really shows that. There's a couple things I want to touch on. You mentioned Conan. We've talked about Conan O'Brien a lot. Conan, of course, famously wrote some of the best episodes of The Simpsons. And this song, Why Can't You Be Nicer to Me, was actually used in an episode of The Simpsons called Judge Me Tender in the 21st season, which always cracks me up because the White Stripes also appeared on The Simpsons in 2006. And
I wanted a cartoon. I wanted a Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
Where like Jack's guitar is like the thing that saves the day.
In 2003, Meg explained that a guest appearance would be amazing on The Simpsons, citing she wouldn't want to be in a Lisa episode because they're kind of boring. To wrap up, Enemies put Stijl on their 500 best albums of all time list, which I completely agree. And this song was not performed a lot live.
No, it wasn't.
22 times, 78th overall. First played in 97 in the summer. Last played at their 10th anniversary show in Glace Bay, Nova Scotia. and they played it about 3 times leading up to that Canada show, to that 10th anniversary show. So you know that it was, in terms of sentimental songs or songs that you would maybe want to have on that really long 10th anniversary show to represent the band's decade. Why Can't You Be Nicer to Me was definitely on there. And it was, as a solo artist, Jack White has performed it 6 times. Even though it's got a violin on it, he didn't perform it when his touring band had a violin players. So it was first done in 2018 in Paris, and was last played in 2023 in Aspen.
Was that 2018 Paris show? Wasn't that streamed online live?
No, it was. I believe it's a different one, because I wanted to hear him play. I wanted to hear how this song was interpreted in 2023 Jack White. So there's a performance from an El Paso, Texas show in 2022 that's on Nugs. And I just signed up for Nugs.net today, and his version is outstanding. Like this is fast and heavy. It's a completely reworked song that is just as special. I had it on loop before you hopped on here. I cannot recommend it.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. Chris, this has been an outstanding conversation. When it comes to being thrown into the mix with strangers to talk about a band you both like, you don't know how it's going to go, but I really love talking to you. I ask this to all the guests. Next time you listen to this song, Why Can't You Be Nicer to Me? What's going to go through your head? What are you going to think about?
About how we're still all connected through this. Little Room was great. I was on that message board. I'm not sure if you were.
Me too.
But I think about how this band, Jack, Ben, everyone, they give us a space to play in.
Yeah.
As fans. They give us more stuff than we could ever want without watering down their product, which I think is amazing. And I hope that, even though the band I don't think will ever perform again, I love that they are still thought about and that they are still looking to make new content for their videos, which I think is insane. Nobody does that. This band does that.
All right, that was Chris. I'm Ryan and Chris. That's what you just listened to. When there are songs that have a lot of meat on the bone about the song or its legacy, the majority of the episode is going to be about that song. A track like Why Can't You Be Nicer to Me? There's just not a lot there. I don't know, maybe I'm glad there wasn't, because it was just really fun to talk to Chris, and I really liked that conversation. And we'll be back next week, and I'm going to give you a little teaser for the weeks to come. There's going to be a big song that we're going to talk about in the coming weeks. How big? Who knows? But big. Thanks again for listening to this, the hardest podcast to podcast, which is hosted and produced by Ryan Schaap. Artwork by Catlin Likely. Amanda Schultz is our assistant editorial producer. And Mike Noble is our Gato.